Captain Lee Tae-ho sat in heavy metal chains inside the alien ship. His hands were locked behind his back. His feet were chained to the floor. The cold metal cut into his skin, but he did not move. He stared straight ahead at the huge viewing screen that showed Earth below. Earth was burning. The planet looked sick from space. Thick black smoke covered the continents. Red fires glowed like angry eyes across the surface. The blue oceans had turned gray with ash. What used to be green forests were now black scars on the planet's face. "Look at your homeworld, human," said Overlord Vexithera. The alien leader stood 12 feet tall. His skin was dark purple with bright silver markings. 4 arms moved as he spoke. His voice sounded like grinding metal. "Look at what we have done to your precious Earth." Lee Tae-ho said nothing. He kept his face blank and empty. Other aliens filled the command room of the massive ship. They came from different worlds and looked nothing like each other. Some had scales. Some had fur. Some looked like giant insects. But they all had one thing in common. They all looked happy. They thought they had won the greatest victory in galactic history. 6 months ago, your species was so proud, Vexithera continued. He walked around Lee Tae-ho like a hunter circling wounded prey. You humans thought you were special. You thought you could fight the galactic hegemony. You were wrong. The viewing screen changed. Now it showed recordings from the invasion. Huge alien ships appeared in Earth's sky like dark clouds. Human cities fired missiles and energy weapons at the invaders. The weapons bounced off the alien shields like raindrops hitting glass. "Your weapons could not hurt us," laughed General Kilnath. He was a creature that looked like a giant spider with too many eyes. "Your technology was like toys compared to ours." The screen showed human fighter ships attacking the alien fleet. The small human ships moved fast and shot bright lasers. But the alien ships were too big and too strong. One by one, the human fighters exploded into balls of fire and metal. "Your pilots were brave," admitted Ambassador Zixmora. She had blue skin and moved like water. "But bravery means nothing without power. Your entire space fleet was destroyed in 3 days." Lee Tae-ho watched the recordings. He saw human ships breaking apart. He saw pilots dying in the cold darkness of space. His face showed no emotion, but inside his heart was breaking. These were his friends, his brothers and sisters in arms, good people who had families and dreams. But he did not cry. He did not scream. He waited. "Then your cities began to surrender," Vexithera said with pleasure. The screen showed mayors and governors walking out of their city halls with white flags. They knelt before alien soldiers and begged for mercy. One by one, every major city on Earth gave up fighting. The aliens cheered as they watched the recordings. They had seen this same pattern on 100 worlds. First, they destroyed the enemy's space forces, then they bombed the cities. Finally, the planet surrendered. It always worked the same way. "Your military bases fell next," General Kilnath added. The screen showed human soldiers laying down their weapons. Tanks and aircraft were abandoned. Underground bunkers were opened and emptied. "Your armies gave up without a real fight." More recordings played. Human resistance groups tried to hide in mountains and forests, but alien hunting parties found them easily. The resistance fighters were captured or killed. Their hidden bases were destroyed. Within weeks, organized human resistance had ended. "Some of your people tried to escape in ships," Zixmora said. "We caught them all, every escape pod, every transport vessel, every colony ship that tried to run to other star systems. None of your species got away." The viewing screen showed space battles around Earth's orbit. Human civilian ships tried to break through the alien blockade. They moved in desperate groups, hoping some might escape while others were destroyed. But the alien fleet was too big, too well organized. Every human ship was caught. "And now," Vexithera said, "we have you, the famous Captain Lee Tae-ho, hero of the outer colonies, winner of the Battle of Titan Station, the human military's greatest tactical mind." The alien leader's 4 eyes stared down at the chained human. captured like a common criminal. Lee Tae-ho had been found hiding in the ruins of Seoul. Alien soldiers dragged him from a burned building where he was trying to organize the last few human survivors. He did not resist. He let them put chains on him and bring him to their flagship. For 6 months we have ruled your world, Vexithera continued. We have taken your resources. We have enslaved your people. We have made Earth into just another colony world for the hegemony. Your species will work in our mines and factories until you die. The other aliens nodded in agreement. This was how it always went. Conquest, enslavement, exploitation. They had done this to dozens of worlds and hundreds of species. Humans were no different from all the others. You have nothing left, General Kilnath said. No ships, no weapons, no armies, no hope. Your planet belongs to us now. Your people call us monsters, Zixmora added, but we are not cruel without reason. We offered your species a chance to join the hegemony peacefully. You chose to fight instead. This is what happens to those who oppose us. The recordings continued to play. Earth's major cities were now slave camps. Humans worked in chains to dig metals from the ground. They built ships and weapons for their alien masters. Children were taken from their parents to be raised as servants. The proud human race had become nothing more than property. In all our years of conquest, Vexthera said proudly, no species has ever recovered from total defeat. Once we break a world, it stays broken forever. Your Earth will serve the hegemony for 1,000 years. The alien leader moved closer to Lee Tae-ho. His forearms crossed over his massive chest. His silver markings glowed brighter with excitement. Before we send you to the slave camps, Vexthera said, I want to hear you admit defeat. I want you to say that humanity was weak, that we were stronger, that your resistance was pointless. Lee Tae-ho had been silent for the entire speech. He had watched the recordings without speaking. He had listened to the aliens boasting without reacting. But now, for the first time in hours, his lips moved. He began to smile. It started small, just a tiny curve at the corners of his mouth. But slowly the smile grew bigger. Soon Lee Tae-ho was grinning like a man who had just heard the funniest joke in the universe. The aliens stopped talking. They stared at the chained human in confusion. Why was he smiling? His planet was destroyed, his people were enslaved, his species was defeated. What could possibly be funny about that? Why do you smile? Vexithera demanded. His voice was angry now. Your world is ashes. Your people are our property. You have lost everything. Lee Tae-ho looked up at the alien overlord. His smile was now so wide it hurt his face. His eyes sparkled with something that looked almost like joy. I'm smiling, he said in a calm, clear voice, because you forgot rule number 1. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. What was rule number 1? What was this human talking about? They had studied human military doctrine. They had read every strategy book and battle plan they could find. There was no rule number 1 that they remembered. What rule? General Kilnath asked. His many eyes blinked rapidly with worry. Lee Tae-ho's smile became even bigger. You'll find out soon enough, he said. Dr. Park Ji-won stood in her laboratory staring at the data on her computer screen. Her hands shook as she read the numbers again and again. She had been studying space signals for 3 years. What she found made her blood turn cold. This can't be right, she whispered to herself. The signals came from deep space. They were not random. They had patterns, language patterns, communication between ships, lots of ships, more ships than Earth had ever built. Park Ji-won was a smart woman. She studied alien life forms and how they might communicate. But these signals were not from one alien species. They came from many different sources, many different types of technology, all working together. She picked up her phone and called Admiral Yoon Hee-jin. Admiral, we need to talk, Park Ji-won said. Right now. It's about the signals from space. An hour later, Admiral Yoon Hee-jin sat in the laboratory. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had fought in 3 wars and never lost a battle. But as she read Park Ji-won's research, her face went pale. "How long do we have?" the Admiral asked. "Based on the signal strength and direction, maybe 2 years," Park Ji-won answered. "They're coming here, to Earth. And Admiral, there are a lot of them." Admiral Yoon Hae-jin was quiet for a long time. She stared at the data. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. Technologies that Earth had never seen before. An invasion force that could destroy human civilization in days. "Have you told anyone else about this?" the Admiral asked. "No. Only you." "Good. Keep it that way for now." Admiral Yoon Hae-jin stood up and walked to the window. Outside, people lived normal lives. They went to work. They played with their children. They had no idea that death was coming from the stars. "What do we do?" Park Ji-won asked. The Admiral was quiet for another minute. Then she turned around. Her eyes had a strange look. Not fear, something else. Something that looked almost like excitement. "We're going to do something that no other species has ever done," she said. "We're going to lose the war before it starts." Park Ji-won stared at her. "What do you mean?" "Tell me, Doctor. When you study animal behavior, what happens when a small animal meets a big predator? The small animal either runs or fights. If it can't do either, it usually dies." "Right. But what if the small animal could make the predator think it was already dead?" Park Ji-won thought about this. The predator would ignore it, move on to other prey. "Exactly." Admiral Yoon Hae-jin smiled. But it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a hunter. "We're going to make these aliens think they've killed us, but we'll be very much alive." 18 months later, Commander Kim Da-yoon stood on the bridge of the battleship Seoul's Pride. But the ship was not in space. It was hidden inside a large asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. The asteroid had been hollowed out by mining robots. Now it looked like empty rock from the outside. Inside, it held a complete military base. "Status report," Commander Kim Da-eun said. "All systems green, Commander," replied her second officer. "The fake hull plating is working perfectly. To any scanner, we look like solid rock." Kim Da-eun nodded. Around her, dozens of other asteroids held hidden ships. Battleships, cruisers, fighter squadrons, supply vessels. An entire fleet that did not officially exist. "Any word from the other hiding spots?" she asked. "Base 7 reports ready." "Base 12 is fully operational. Base 23 just finished loading supplies." The officer checked his list. "All 37 hidden bases are now active and ready." Kim Da-eun smiled. 37 secret military bases, each one built inside asteroids or hidden in gas clouds, each one invisible to enemy sensors, each one filled with Earth's real military strength. "And the decoy fleet?" she asked. "Ready for deployment. All ships are automated. They'll fly and fight like real vessels, but no humans will be on board. When the aliens destroy them, they'll think they've won a great victory." The decoy fleet was Admiral Yoon Hae-jin's idea. Old ships made to look like Earth's main defense force. Robot-controlled, vessels that would put up a good fight but eventually lose. The aliens would see exactly what they expected to see, a brave but hopeless human resistance that died fighting. 6 months later, Earth's surface, the invasion had begun 3 days ago. Captain Lee Tae-ho crouched in the ruins of a building in Seoul. Around him, 12 human soldiers waited for orders. But these were not real soldiers, they were actors. People trained to look like military personnel but with no real combat experience. "Remember," Lee Tae-ho whispered, "when the aliens find us, you surrender immediately. Drop your weapons, put your hands up, act scared." "But sir," one of the fake soldiers said, "it feels wrong to give up without fighting." "You're not giving up," Lee Tae-ho replied. "You're helping to win the war. The aliens need to think we're weak and broken. If they believe that, they'll make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, we'll be ready." Through his earpiece, Lee Tae-ho heard Admiral Yoon Hae-jin's voice. "Phase 1 is complete. All major cities have fallen to the aliens. Civilian evacuation is 90% finished." Lee Tae-ho smiled. The civilians were not really in the burning cities. Most had been secretly moved to underground shelters months ago. The people the aliens saw surrendering were volunteers. Brave men and women who knew they might die but wanted to help save. Humanity. What about the colony ships? Lee Tae-ho asked quietly. All launched successfully. The aliens think they destroyed our escape attempts, but those were decoy vessels. The real colony ships used stealth technology. They're already safely away from Earth. Lee Tae-ho nodded. Thousands of humans were now traveling to distant star systems. Even if Earth was truly destroyed, humanity would survive. The species would continue. But that was not the plan. The plan was much more dangerous and much more ambitious. Present day, alien flagship back in the alien command room, Overlord Vexathara stared at the smiling human captain. The alien leader's forearms moved, nervously. Something was wrong. Defeated enemies did not smile like this. What is rule number 1? Vexathara demanded again. Lee Tae-ho's chains suddenly felt different, lighter. He moved his hands slightly and felt the metal give way. The chains had been designed to break when he wanted them to. But he did not break free yet. Not yet. Rule number 1 is simple, Lee Tae-ho said. His voice was calm and confident. Never let your enemy know your true strength until you're ready to use all of it. General Kilnath's many eyes blinked rapidly. What are you talking about, human? We destroyed your strength. We saw your ships burn. We watched your cities fall. You saw what we wanted you to see, Lee Tae-ho replied. Tell me, General. In all your wars of conquest, have you ever fought an enemy that wanted to lose the first battle? The aliens looked at each other in confusion. What did he mean? Every species they had conquered had fought to win. That was how war worked. You tried to defeat your enemy, not lose to them. You're lying, Ambassador Zixmora said. But her voice sounded uncertain. Your people fought hard. They died trying to defend their world. Some did, Lee Tae-ho admitted. Brave volunteers who knew the plan. They died to make the performance look real. But most of what you destroyed were empty buildings and robot ships. Overlord Vexathara's silver markings began to glow brighter. This was a sign that he was getting angry or worried. Impossible. We monitored your communications. We studied your military bases. We tracked your population centers. Lee Tae-ho's smile grew even wider. Dr. Park Ji-won is very good at creating fake signals. She made sure you saw exactly what you expected to see. A typical planet with typical defenses and a typical population. But we captured humans, General Kilnath protested. We interrogated your soldiers. They told us about your military structure. They told you what we trained them to tell you, Lee Tae-ho said. Every piece of information you extracted from prisoners was carefully prepared. We've been planning this deception for 2 years. The alien command room became very quiet. The only sound was the humming of the ship's engines. Slowly, the aliens began to understand what the human was telling them. They had not conquered Earth. They had been tricked. You're bluffing, Vexathara said, but he did not sound sure anymore. Lee Tae-ho looked directly at the alien overlord. His smile was now bright enough to light up the entire room. Would you like me to prove it? He asked. The alien command room was dead silent. Overlord Vexathara stared at Captain Lee Tae-ho with all 4 of his eyes. The human was still chained to the chair, but somehow he looked like the one in control. Prove it? Vexathara repeated. His voice was quieter now, less confident. You are our prisoner. Your world is destroyed. What could you possibly prove? Lee Tae-ho tilted his head slightly. Computer, are you listening? The aliens looked confused. The human was talking to empty air. There was no computer responding, no voice answering back. I think you're losing your mind, human, General Kilnath said. His spider-like body moved nervously. The stress of defeat has broken your brain, but Lee Tae-ho ignored him. He kept talking to the air. Computer, please show our friends the real status of Earth's defense network. Nothing happened for 3 seconds. Then, every screen in the alien command room flickered. The images of burning Earth disappeared. New pictures appeared instead. The aliens gasped. The screens showed Earth from space. But this Earth was not burning. The cities were not destroyed. Green forests covered the continents. Blue oceans sparkled in the sunlight. The planet looked healthy and beautiful. Impossible, whispered Ambassador Zixmora. We saw the fires, we saw the destruction. You saw projected images, Li Teho explained calmly. Holograms created by satellites. Dr. Park Ji-won is very good with technology. She made fake fires and fake smoke. From space, it looked real. But down on the surface, people were living normal lives. The screens changed again. Now they showed human cities. But these cities were not empty ruins. They were full of people. Men and women walked on busy streets. Children played in parks, traffic moved on highways. Everything looked peaceful and normal. The population centers you thought you destroyed were mostly empty buildings, Li Teho continued. We built fake cities in remote areas. When you bombed them, you destroyed nothing important. The real cities were protected by energy shields you never detected. Overlord Vexathara's silver markings flashed bright red. This was a sign of extreme anger in his species. Our sensors would have detected shield technology. We scanned your entire planet. Your sensors detected what we wanted them to detect, Li Teho said. Rule number 1, remember? Never show your enemy your true strength. That includes not showing them your true technology. The screens changed once more. This time, they showed human military bases. But these bases were not abandoned. Ruins. They were full of activity. Soldiers trained in courtyards. Vehicles moved between buildings. Aircraft flew overhead. The bases were clearly operational and well defended. You told us you destroyed our military, Li Teho said. But you only destroyed decoy bases. Empty buildings made to look important. Our real military was hidden underground. Has been for 2 years. General Kilnath's many eyes darted between the screens. But we captured your soldiers. We interrogated them. They revealed your military secrets. They revealed the secrets we wanted you to know, Li Teho replied. Every human you captured was a volunteer. They let themselves be taken. They told you exactly what we trained them to say. False information designed to make you overconfident. The screens now showed something that made the aliens step back in shock. Space around Earth was full of human ships, not the small fighters they had seen before. These were massive battleships, cruisers with heavy weapons, carriers filled with attack craft, an entire fleet that seemed to appear from nowhere. Where did those ships come from? Vexathara demanded. His forearms were shaking now. They were always there, Li Teho said simply, hidden in asteroid fields, disguised as space debris, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. We've been building this fleet in secret for decades. Ambassador Zixmora moved closer to the screens. Her blue skin had turned pale. But our intelligence networks would have detected such massive construction projects. Your intelligence networks saw what we showed them, Li Teho explained. We built the ships in space, far from Earth, in asteroid belts where you wouldn't look. We used stealth technology that your species has never encountered before. The alien officers began talking rapidly to each other in their own languages. Their voices sounded worried, scared. They were starting to understand how badly they had been fooled. Even if this is true, Vexathara said, trying to sound brave, you are still outnumbered. The galactic hegemony has thousands of ships, millions of soldiers. You cannot defeat us. Li Teho's smile became even wider. You're right. We can't defeat the entire hegemony. But we don't need to defeat all of you, we only need to defeat you. What do you mean? General Kilnath asked. I mean your fleet, the ships you brought to conquer Earth. You came here with about 1,200 vessels, your entire invasion force. You brought them all because you thought this would be easy. A quick victory against a weak species. The screens changed again. Now they showed the alien fleet from the outside. 1,200 ships in formation around Earth. But something was wrong with the picture. Red circles appeared around many of the alien vessels. Those red circles show ships that are already under attack, Li Teho explained. My friend Commander Kim Da-eun has been very busy while you were celebrating your victory. Vexathara rushed to the communication console. He pressed buttons frantically, trying to contact his other ships. Static came from the speakers, then screaming voices, explosions, the sounds of battle. Fleet Command, this is Battleship Dominator. We're under attack. Human ships came out of nowhere. Conqueror to all units. Request immediate assistance. We're surrounded. They're using some kind of new weapon. Our shields can't stop it. The voices continued for several minutes. Each one brought worse news. Ship after ship reported attacks. Some stopped communicating completely. The red circles on the screen grew larger and more numerous. General Kilnath spun around to face Lee Tae-ho. How are you doing this? How are your ships communicating with you? Dr. Park Ji-won didn't just study your language, Lee Tae-ho replied. She studied your technology, your computer systems, your communication networks. She found ways to access them without you knowing. The screens now showed the battle happening in space around Earth. Human ships that had been invisible suddenly appeared. They moved fast and struck hard. Alien vessels that had seemed invincible were exploding like fireworks. For 6 months, every time you used your computers, we were watching, Lee Tae-ho continued. Every time you sent a message, we were listening. Every time you made a plan, we knew about it before your own officers did. Ambassador Zix Mora stared at the battle scenes in horror. You've been inside our systems this entire time. Dr. Park Ji-won is very talented, Lee Tae-ho said with pride. She created a virus that spread through your network slowly. So slowly you never noticed it. But now it's in every computer on every ship in your fleet. As if responding to his words, the lights in the alien command room began to flicker. The air circulation system made strange noises. Computer screens showed error messages in alien languages. The virus is activating now, Lee Tae-ho explained. It will shut down your weapon systems, your shields, your engines, your life support, everything that keeps your ships working. Overlord Vexathara tried to activate the ship's emergency systems. Nothing responded. He pressed buttons and shouted commands, but the computers ignored him. His own ship was turning against him. This is impossible, he said. No species has ever developed technology like this. No species has ever fought humans before, Lee Tae-ho replied. We think differently than other species. We plan differently, we fight differently. The screens showed more alien ships exploding or going dark. The human fleet moved through the battle like sharks through a school of fish. Fast, deadly, unstoppable. You studied our military history, Lee Tae-ho continued. You read about our wars and our tactics, but you missed the most important thing about humans. What thing? Vexathara asked weakly. We are the only species in the galaxy that perfected the art of lying to our enemies, Lee Tae-ho said. Other species fight with honor. They show their strength. They tell the truth about their capabilities. But humans learned long ago that the best way to win a war is to make your enemy think they've already won. The alien officers looked at each other with growing fear. They were starting to understand what had happened to them. They had not conquered Earth. They had walked into a trap. Rule number 1, Lee Tae-ho said again. Never let your enemy know your true strength until you're ready to use all of it. Today we're ready. As he spoke, his chains finally broke. The metal fell to the floor with a loud clang. Lee Tae-ho stood up slowly and stretched his arms. He had been able to escape at any time. He had stayed chained because the performance required it now, he said, looking directly at Overlord Vexathara. Let's discuss the terms of your surrender. Captain Lee Tae-ho stood free in the alien command room. The broken chains lay at his feet like dead snakes. Around him, the alien officers stared in shock and growing fear. Their perfect conquest was falling apart before their eyes. Impossible, Overlord Vexathara whispered. His 4 arms hung limp at his sides. This cannot be happening. Lee Tae-ho walked to the main communication console. The aliens did not try to stop him. They were too confused and frightened to move. He pressed several buttons with practiced ease. Admiral Yoon Hee-jin, this is Captain Lee Tae-ho, he said into the microphone. Phase 2 is authorized. Begin the counterstrike. A woman's voice answered immediately from speakers all around the room, not just from the ship's communication system. The voice came from every screen, every computer, every electronic device on the vessel. Understood, Captain, Admiral Yoon Hye-jin said. Her voice was calm and confident. Phase 2 begins now. All units, execute Operation Thunder. Suddenly, space around the alien flagship exploded with light. Hundreds of human ships appeared from nowhere. They had been hiding behind asteroids, inside gas clouds, and in the shadows of Earth's moon. Now they all revealed themselves at once. The alien fleet found itself completely surrounded. How? General Kilnath gasped. His spider-like body trembled. Where did all these ships come from? We've been building them for decades, Li Taeho explained. While you thought we were a young species playing with simple rockets, we were actually constructing the largest space fleet in the galaxy. Hidden, waiting, ready. On the viewing screens, the battle unfolded like a deadly dance. Human. Ships moved with perfect coordination. They struck alien vessels from all directions at once. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons would not fire. Their shields would not activate. Their engines barely responded to commands. Dr. Park Ji-won's virus is working perfectly, Li Taeho observed. Your ships are betraying you. Your own computers are helping us destroy you. In the prison camps scattered across the alien fleet, something else was happening. Commander Kim Da-eun sat in what looked like a holding cell on the battleship destroyer. Around her, 50 other humans waited in similar cells. They all wore the gray uniforms of prisoners, but they were not really prisoners. Time to go to work, Kim Da-eun said quietly. She pressed a hidden button on her uniform. The electronic locks on all the cell doors clicked open. The prisoners stepped out and began moving through the ship's corridors like they owned the place, because in a way they did. Remember the layout, Kim Da-eun told her team. Engineering is 3 levels down. Weapons control is on deck 7. We have 15 minutes to take control of this ship. The team split up and moved quickly through the vessel. They had studied these ship designs for months. Every alien vessel type was different, but Dr. Park Ji-won had found the computer system, blueprints. The humans knew exactly where to go and what to do. Behind them, alien guards lay unconscious on the floor. The prisoners had been carrying hidden sleep gas devices for months. One spray and any alien would collapse for hours. Team Alpha in position at the engine room, came a voice through Kim Da-eun's hidden radio. Team Beta has reached weapons. Control, reported another voice. Team Gamma is at the bridge level, said a third. All across the alien fleet, the same scene was playing out. Thousands of human prisoners were revealing their true nature. They were not captured soldiers. They were special forces operatives who had allowed themselves to be taken. For 6 months they had been studying the alien ships from the inside, learning the systems, mapping the layouts, preparing for this moment. Begin Phase 2 Alpha, Kim Da-eun ordered. Take control of all ship systems. On the alien flagship, Overlord Vexus Thara watched his fleet being destroyed. Ship after ship went dark or exploded. The few vessels that still worked were turning their weapons on their own allies. The prisoners are taking over our ships, he said in disbelief. How is this possible? Because they were never really prisoners, Li Taeho replied. They were soldiers pretending to be prisoners. We call it acting. It's something humans are very good at. Ambassador Zix Mora moved to a computer terminal and tried to send messages to other hegemony fleets. She needed to warn them about the human deception, but the computer would not obey her commands. The communication system is not working, she said desperately. Oh, it's working fine, Li Taeho assured her. It's just working for us now instead of you. Dr. Park Ji-won has been very thorough. Every message you try to send will be blocked. Every call for help will be silenced. The screen showed human ships moving closer to the alien flagship. They formed a perfect circle around the massive vessel. Weapon ports opened on dozens of human battleships. Energy beams charged and ready to fire. You wouldn't dare attack us, Vexathera said. If you destroy this ship, you'll kill yourselves too. Li Taeho smiled. Who said anything about destroying the ship? We want you alive. You're going to help us send a message to the rest of the, galaxy? More voices came through the communication system. These were the voices of the human prisoners who were now in control of alien vessels. This is the battleship Conqueror, now under human control. Cruiser Death's Hand reporting. We have taken the bridge. Heavy destroyer Planet Killer is ours. All alien crew secured. One by one, the ships of the alien fleet fell under human control. The aliens who had come to conquer Earth were now prisoners on their own vessels. In 30 minutes, Lee Tae-ho announced, "We will control your entire invasion fleet. 1,200 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy, all of them now belonging to humanity." General Kilnath collapsed into a chair, his many eyes closed in defeat. "We underestimated you. We thought you were just another primitive species." "That was your mistake," Lee Tae-ho agreed. "You looked at our technology and decided we were weak. But technology is not everything. Strategy matters more, planning matters more, and patience matters most of all." The viewing screens now showed Earth from space, but this was not the burning world the aliens thought they had conquered. This was a green, beautiful planet surrounded by the largest space fleet ever assembled. Thousands of human ships filled the orbit, more ships than the aliens had ever seen in one place. "For 2 years we prepared for your arrival," Lee Tae-ho continued. "We built ships, we trained soldiers, we developed new technologies, but most importantly, we planned how to make you defeat yourselves." Admiral Yoon Hye-jin's voice came through the speakers again. "Captain Lee Tae-ho, all objectives achieved. The alien fleet is now under our control. We have also intercepted 3 hegemony supply convoys that were heading to this system. Total ships captured, 1,437. Overlord Vexithara stared at the human captain. "What do you want from us?" "We want you to learn," Lee Tae-ho replied. "We want you to understand what happens when you threaten humanity. We want you to go back to your people and tell them a story." "What story?" Lee Tae-ho walked to the viewing screen that showed Earth. His homeworld was safe. His people were free. The invasion had not only failed, it had given humanity the greatest military victory in galactic history. "You're going to tell them about the species that fights with their minds instead of just their weapons," he said. "You're going to tell them about the humans who turned a conquest into a trap. You're going to tell them what happens when you underestimate Earth." He turned back to face the alien leader. "And you're going to tell them about rule number 1. Outside the ship, human vessels continued their perfect formation. The alien invasion fleet that had come to destroy humanity was now humanity's greatest prize. In a single day, Earth had gone from being a target to being the strongest military power in the galaxy. But the real victory was not the ships or the weapons. The real victory was the lesson. Never underestimate the species that learned to win by losing first. Overlord Vexithara sat in a comfortable chair in what had once been his own flagship. The ship was now part of Earth's defense fleet. The alien leader wore simple gray clothes instead of his battle armor. His forearms were not chained, but he knew he was still a prisoner. Across from him sat Admiral Yoon Hye-jin. The small human woman looked tired but satisfied. Behind her, large windows showed Earth spinning slowly in space. The planet was more beautiful than ever. Cities glowed with warm light. Space stations orbited like bright jewels. Ships moved peacefully between the stars. "Your message has been sent to the Hegemony Council," Admiral Yoon Hye-jin said. "They should receive it in about 6 weeks." Vexithara nodded slowly. "They will not believe it at first. The idea that humans could defeat our entire invasion fleet, it seems impossible. But they will believe it when they see the proof," the Admiral replied. "We're sending them complete recordings of the battle, video evidence of how their mighty fleet was captured by a primitive species." The proof was overwhelming. 1,200 alien warships now served in Earth's fleet. Thousands of alien soldiers were being held as prisoners of war. The galactic hegemony had lost its most powerful invasion force without destroying a single human city. "What will happen to my people?" Vexithara asked. Admiral Yoon Hye-jin stood up and walked to the window. Outside, alien prisoners could be seen working alongside human engineers. They were helping to repair damage to the captured ships. Some aliens and humans were even talking and laughing together. "Your soldiers are being treated well," she said. "They're learning about human culture. Some of them are starting to understand that we're not the monsters you thought we were." This was true. Many of the alien prisoners had been surprised by human kindness. They expected torture and slavery. Instead, they found medical care, good food, and respect. Some aliens were beginning to question everything the hegemony had taught them about other species. Dr. Park Ji-won has been teaching language classes, Admiral Yoon Hye-jin continued. She wants to improve communication between our species. She believes that most conflicts come from misunderstanding. Dr. Park Ji-won had become something of a celebrity among the alien prisoners. The woman who had created the virus that defeated their fleet was also the person working hardest to build bridges between humans and aliens. Many prisoners respected her intelligence and her desire for peace. And Commander Kim Do-eun is training mixed military units, the admiral added. Humans and aliens working together, learning from each other. This had been Captain Lee Tae-ho's idea. Instead of keeping the species separate, why not combine their strengths? Humans brought creativity and strategic thinking. Aliens brought advanced technology and different perspectives. Together, they might accomplish things neither could do alone. Where is Captain Lee Tae-ho? Vexithara asked. He's leading a diplomatic mission to the outer colonies, Admiral Yoon Hye-jin replied. We're making contact with species that the hegemony conquered years ago. We're offering them a choice. The choice was simple. Join the new alliance that Earth was building or remain under hegemony rule. Many worlds were choosing freedom. Tekimao. News of humanity's victory was spreading across the galaxy like wildfire. Oppressed species everywhere were beginning to hope. You're starting a war, Vexithara said quietly. No, Admiral Yoon Hye-jin corrected. We're ending one. The hegemony has been conquering and enslaving species for hundreds of years. We're giving those species a chance to fight back. She turned away from the window to face the alien leader. But we're not doing it the way you would expect. We're not building an empire to replace yours. We're building something different. What do you mean? We're building an alliance of equals. Every species gets a voice, every world gets to choose its own path. No one rules over anyone else. This concept was difficult for Vexithara to understand. In the hegemony, strong species controlled weak ones. The idea that all species could be equal seemed impossible. It will never work, he said. Strong species will always dominate weak ones. That is the natural order. Admiral Yoon Hye-jin smiled. That's what you thought about humans. How did that work out? The alien leader had no answer for that. 6 months later, Galactic Council Chamber, the emergency session of the Hegemony Council, was chaos. Representatives from 12 species shouted at each other in dozens of different languages. Holographic displays showed the disaster at Earth. Military reports detailed the loss of entire fleets. Intelligence briefings warned of rebellion, spreading across hegemony space. Supreme Chancellor Mordak slammed his massive fist on the council table. The creature looked like a living mountain of rock and metal. His voice boomed through the chamber. Order. We will have order in this council. The other representatives fell silent. Chancellor Mordak was the most powerful leader in the hegemony. His species had conquered more worlds than any other. When he spoke, everyone listened. We have received a message from the humans, he announced. They are offering us terms for peace. Angry voices erupted again. Several representatives demanded immediate war. Others called for the complete destruction of Earth. A few suggested negotiation. What are their terms? Asked Counselor Ithyan. Her species looked like giant insects with crystal wings. They were known for their logical thinking. Chancellor. Mordak activated a holographic display. The image of Admiral Yoon Hye-jin appeared in the center of the chamber. The small human woman looked calm and confident as she spoke. To the leaders of the galactic hegemony, the recording began. We are prepared to return your ships and your soldiers. We ask for nothing in exchange except this. Stop the conquest. Stop enslaving other species. Let the worlds you have conquered choose their own futures. The council chamber erupted in outrage. Many representatives saw this as an insult. How dare a primitive species make demands of the mighty hegemony? But Admiral Yoon Hye-jin continued speaking. We know this seems like weakness to you. You believe that strong species should rule weak ones. But we offer you a different path. Join us in building a galaxy where all species can prosper together." "Ridiculous," snarled General Vokhtar. His wolf-like species had led many conquest campaigns. "We should gather our remaining fleets and crush these humans once and for all." "With what fleets?" Counselor Ithyan asked pointedly. "The humans have captured or destroyed 60% of our military forces. Rebellions are spreading on 47 worlds. 3 major species have already declared independence. This was the real crisis." The hegemony was falling apart. News of humanity's victory had inspired hope in oppressed species everywhere. Revolts were breaking out on worlds that had been peaceful for decades. "The humans have shown us something important," Counselor Ithyan continued. "They defeated us not with superior technology, but with superior strategy. They outthought us. Perhaps it is time to consider that our way is not the only way." Chancellor Mordak studied the military reports on his personal display. The numbers were grim. The hegemony was losing the war they had started with humanity. But more than that, they were losing the respect and fear that had kept their empire together. "What do you propose?" he asked Counselor Ithyan. "We accept their terms," she replied. "We negotiate a peace treaty. We learn from them instead of trying to destroy them." Half the council shouted in anger. The other half remained thoughtfully quiet. 1 year later, New Geneva Space Station. The peace treaty was signed in a ceremony broadcast across the galaxy. Representatives from hundreds of species watched as former enemies became allies. The galactic hegemony was officially dissolved. In its place rose the Interstellar Cooperative Alliance. Captain Lee Tae-ho stood with the other human delegates as the historic document was finalized. Beside him, Overlord Vexithara signed on behalf of his species. The alien leader had spent a year learning about human culture and philosophy. He was now one of the strongest supporters of the new alliance. "It's hard to believe," Vexithara said quietly. "A year ago, I came to conquer your world. Now I'm helping to build a new galaxy." "People can change," Lee Tae-ho replied. "Species can change. Even empires can change. That's something humans learned long ago." Dr. Park Ji-won was busy at a nearby table, working with alien scientists to establish new communication protocols. The universal translator she had developed was allowing species to talk to each other for the first time in centuries. Commander Kim Da-yoon stood with the military representatives. The new alliance would have armed forces, but they would be used only for defense and peacekeeping. No more conquest, no more slavery, no more forcing weaker species to serve stronger ones. Admiral Yoon Hye-jin approached the podium to give the closing speech. The woman who had planned humanity's greatest victory was now helping to plan the galaxy's greatest peace. "Today marks the end of the age of conquest," she announced. "Today begins the age of cooperation. We have learned that strength comes not from ruling others, but from working together." She looked out at the assembled delegates from dozens of worlds. "The humans have a saying, 'United we stand, divided we fall.' Today, we all stand united."